So, good afternoon or good evening to my cohorts in Australia. We are live with the Trackstars touring cars. We are live with qualifying for the Blue Moon Bay 500, our annual dalliance onto the ovals in the form of the Blue Moon Bay Speedway, not the infield, the oval itself. Qualifying today. We'll talk you through the format and such in just a few moments, but for now we are live. So then, the first of the qualifying sessions is about to get underway here. Apologies for the pause momentarily in terms of the stream. We also had a pause on track, though. That was for a better reason. We have Gabans, someone with plenty of military service in his past, paying tribute to the late Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, who of course passed away last week. His funeral held over here in London just yesterday. So then, we have a relatively simple format. If you think of the Indianapolis 500, it's not a million miles away from that in terms of what we're doing for qualifying. So essentially, each session, driver runs individually, and they have 3 laps in which to run. This first lap, of course, from a standing start doesn't count for anything. You then have 2 flying laps. The best of those 2 flying laps will determine your time, or the best of those 2 laps will be taken as your time, and that will be what determines where you are on the grid come race day. Of course, there is also the element of there not being that many spaces available for the Blue Moon Bay 500. So it's also like the Indianapolis 500 in the sense that you could end up not taking part in the event proper if you don't nail a lap here. .37.6, the marker laid down by It's Racing on his first flying lap. Let's see if he can improve on the second lap. I've noticed that I'm on miles an hour. I'm sorry, I'll change that. It looks right to me because I'm not Australian. 200 miles an hour as he flicks into the second of what is essentially 3 corners here at Blue Moon. Of course, the Americans tend to say that it's always 4 corners, but well, I disagree. This is a triangle. Nonetheless, It's Racing crosses the line. 37.371 is the benchmark that he has set. Let's just quickly make that change now before I forget. Kilometers, all important. Hopefully there won't be too many foibles on this stream. However, my computer has recently been through a number of repairs that essentially meant its brain got thrown away, so there could well be some issues that we have to contend with. Okay, so final goes again. This time, a name that I certainly don't immediately associate. It's a driver that's new to my eyes, at least. Orphan Blue, Orphan Drop, I should say. That's how new he is to me. Not sure how much experience he has with track stars, but he's picked the GTR. Not that one, that one. Picked the number 2 as well. Will he be position number 2 in a couple of minutes' time? Let's see what kind of performance we get out of the Trackstars Touring Cars newcomer here. Will likely be involved with Trackstars in some capacity, but certainly his first appearance in the recent era, at the very least, in the touring cars. Nice P1 Racing Team livery on his GTR. Runs it high through the sweeping flat-out bend. Looks like they're just about pulling flat out as well through the final turn. Car does look very well sorted to me at the moment. Oh, but that's not going to do him any favours there. Barrier has caught him. Project 1 sim racing, so says the chat. I also see Come On Jackie, so I think we've figured out this Stig's identity. Cross the line for a 39.4 relative to the 37.3 from It's Racing. Let's see if this second lap is any better. Well, it should be, just on the basis of that first corner. Only gained himself a 10th, though, so I don't think that was the most confident line I've ever seen through that corner. Or gets himself onto the apron a couple of times there as well, unsettles the car. Don't think this is going to be wildly quicker than his previous lap. It's certainly not going to be It's Racing's. A 39.1, the best he can muster. 1.8 seconds down from It's Racing, whose 37.371 is still the benchmark here as it stands. So we go again. Take 3 of Group 1. We're going through 4 groups of qualification. And so underway. And Stoned Towel is next. That's an interesting name. It's another P1 entry. Do love these Australian gamer tags are often spectacular, to say the very least. So then, two times on the board, a 37.371, the lap time for for It's Racing. Orphan Drop, seemingly the teammate of Stone Towel. 39.1. Immediately setting himself apart from his teammate, at the very least, a 38.3. Still some way off it. He's got a second to find on this second lap. Is he going to do it? He's certainly quicker through T1, but only a few hundredths quicker. Quite touching 320 kilometers an hour. Still just a fraction up on himself. Every little could help at the end of this qualifying session, of course, so he'll be pushing it to the last. Doesn't quite top himself eventually, just a few hundredths shy. So 38.3 puts him P2 for now. So to be clear, we have 2 splits racing in the Blue Moon Bay 500. Now, the top 10 in the Trackstars Touring Cars points are allowed, or rather, are afforded the luxury of a guaranteed spot in Split 1. That is, of course, It's Racing, N-Spud, Papa AT, Diswood, Disappointed, or DJ SX Pointed, depending on what mood you're feeling, Punts, Lurox, Xiaomi, Brandosa, and Deadpool are all guaranteed in the top 10 they're in the top 10 in the points, therefore they're guaranteed a grid slot in Tier 1 in the top slot, the top lobby of the Blue Moon Bay 500. There will be a secondary lobby of 15, so positions 14 through 29 will filter into that. And then there will be other races, additional night races and such, extra races for those from 30th onwards, allowing everybody who qualifies the opportunity to race in some capacity for their qualifying efforts. So everyone will get a race at some point. I think there's still some discussion as to whether how or what will happen with the non-top split races in regards to streaming and such. However, we do not need to worry about that for now. We just need to worry about who will be joining that top 10 in Split 1, and of course determining who will be in the Split 2 grid. This is a driver that we should see good things from. Broccolilli has looked impressive throughout his tenure in Trackstars. Certainly a driver you'd expect to be quick. We saw how fast he was, not just in his appearances in our main series, the Endurance Series, Formula Trackstars Touring Cars, but also very quick in TS2 as well. I have first-hand experience of that now, courtesy of last week. Let's see what this man can put on the board. Great factoid dropped on from the Project One Esports YouTube account. Orphan Drop and Stone Towel are twinned brothers. That's excellent. Not the first time that we've had twins, even triplets in the Trackstars Touring Cars series, so a little bit of twin magic. Let's see what it does for them. Let's see what Broccolilli's first lap is. Again, 37.3 is the benchmark. 38.2 is the time. That would be enough for second place currently, ahead of both of the Project One Racing Team entries. I say both, there are quite a few Project One representatives on the entry list, but the two that we've seen so far. Also expecting Curving Texas, BKXI, KD 1997, Viper Z as well. We're going to see over 40 cars, almost 50 cars, over the course of this event. That lap was never looking the best from Broccolilli. That second lap not as good as his first. It will be good enough for P2 as it stands. So second place at the moment for Broccolilli. Still a very, very long way to go, of course. Next up, we have Beast Racer. First Lexus we see out on circuit. Dan 08, someone who we expect to be quick for the Shaden Racing team. Gabans in at the 55 car, one of the other It's Racing Esports entries. Bozza 777 from the EBM squad. Then Curving Texas, BKXI. I believe we'll be seeing Spud as well in Group 1. Justin 930 and Loudy Dark Mist. Just waiting for Broccolilli to exit track and we should be ready to go. A lot of crowd support for Broccolilli during his run on the stream comments. Get involved with Trackstars, not just with the comments section. You can also find Trackstars on the Facebook search bar as a Facebook page. Well worth giving that page a follow to keep up with the latest and greatest news from Trackstars. Beast Racer 3993, the next driver to tackle the Blue Moon Bay 500 qualifying. Part of the Elite Brake and Mechanical Trackstars Touring Cars series. Of course, Elite Brake and Mechanical are sponsors, as ever. Great supporter of the Trackstars series, not just in terms of sponsorship and decals on cars, but also in terms of racing. We'll see a good few EBM representatives out there in the next couple of hours. Beast Racer then, 3993. Let's see what the first of the Lexus drivers can do. We've had a trio of Nissans and a solitary Honda. Here's the first line in the sand drawn by Toyota's luxury car sub-brand Lexus. Distinctive pink of Beast Racer. Certainly if he makes it into the top split, I'm not going to have any trouble spotting his car on the stream. Carried some good speed through the fastest hairpin in Gran Turismo Sport, I like to call that first turn. Maybe hairpin is exaggerating a little bit, but it certainly has the same profile, albeit with a lot more banking. Looks like he's pushing hard. Just almost glances the barrier there. Let's see what the first lap is. Which is 38.3. That puts him in third behind Broccolilli as it stands. Carries some good speed, but not as much of it, I don't think, through T1. Oh, no, he's all of 900ths up, which wouldn't quite be enough to get into second ahead of Broccolilli. 0.02 of a second clear of his previous time, but he looked slow through that last corner. And sure enough, he did lose about a 10th there in the final split. So that'll slot him just ahead of the Project One Racing Team drivers that we've seen to this point. Stone Talon, Orphan Drop. So third place as it stands for Beast Racer. Of course it's a victory. He was the only one in the race. So then a series regular, or at least a new series regular, Dan 08 will be replacing SDRT Wiseacre, we believe, in the main series seat for the Shaden Racing team. So Dan 08 taking to the track. Off goes the number 8 car. Shaden Racing team have had mixed fortunes thus far in the Trackstars Touring Cars series. I think they've shown flashes of good pace. They've also had some issues in regard to consistency in the races. And so they'll be looking to get as many representatives as possible on the grid, both in the top split and the second split of the Blue Moon Bay 500. And that is in large part, of course, because none of them are in the top 10 of the championship points. Dan 08 then. 37.3, I remind you, is the benchmark. Crosses the line now. It's looked like a tidy lap. Is it a quick one? Looks like it'll be a 37. Yes, a 37.6. Dan 08 is not messing around. Looks like he's got his gearbox configured very nicely. That car is putting out some great speeds. 340 clicks almost. Well above the 200 miles an hour barrier. And look at that, visibly 320 plus going through T2. He's up on himself. Is he going to get a 37.5 here? Looked like a decent run through the final corner. How does he break the barrier? It's a 37.571. That is great from Dan 08. Second fastest time we've seen thus far, and the fastest of 4 Nissans that we've seen out there on circuit thus far. Only behind It's Racing. Great stuff from Dan. There we go. Next up, it will be Gabans. As we said, Gabans with military service in his past. He performed a 1-minute tribute silence to the late Duke of Edinburgh before this session got underway, while I was still wrestling with my computer. Let's see what the 55 car is capable of. So Gabans is underway, albeit very slowly, for his session. Right on board with the second of the Hondas. Looks like he is staying in 5th gear, which is interesting. Maybe I've just been unobservant, but I haven't spotted anyone else doing that yet. Perhaps that's an It's Racing thing. I didn't pay attention to that particular facet while It's was going round earlier. Look at how much more speed that car carries through turn 1. Mid-engined NSX is monstrous around sweeping corners. Great BOP challenge. The car's very individual characteristics relative to the others. Gaban's immediately challenging It's Racing's time, a 37.4. That's just a few hundred shy of what we've seen from It's Racing. Is he going to break the beam faster? He crumbs across the line now. Good run out of the last corner. It's a 37.1. 37.141 from Gabans to go top. The NSX currently 1-2 at the front of the order. We're still yet to see many of the fastest drivers in the league. Certainly that's impressive driving from Gabans here. Gabans now a full-time driver too for Pit Lane Esports. That's a great signing for them. Had been hearing that he can do 36s as hide and seek. Yes, I'd heard that one as well. So then, Bozza 777 is next, the first of the Elite Brake and Mechanical Motorsport entries, and well, a new to TS, new to main EBM Trackstars Series competition at least, that livery. Very fetching colour scheme on the 777. Launches away. Just a quick word on a personal note. If I sound a little bit washed out today, I do apologise. I did have my second COVID vaccine shot yesterday, and it's bitten back a little bit. Nothing too bad, but if I do sound a little bit worse for wear today, that is why. Nonetheless, hopefully no one else is under the weather over in Oz or any of our international competitors as well. First lap coming to its midpoint now. Bozza 777. Let's see where he fits into the pile. 37.1 the new benchmark. 37.5 the best of the Nissans thus far. Looks like he's going to be close. Yes, a 37.8, so a good time. Let's see how the second lap stacks. Looks like he might be bouncing off the rev limiter a little much for the Nissan's taste, but nonetheless, that was an impressive time. He looked a bit wide through T1. I'm not sure this lap is going to be much better, if at all. Looks like he's going to be a few hundredths down when he crosses the line, but nonetheless, a 37.876 is a very solid time indeed. If he'd managed to tie together all the best elements of that lap, I think he could have been on to challenge at least maybe Dan 08 at that 37.5, but nonetheless, he goes 4th place with that time, the 37.8. So then, another of the pole position cars, or rather the Project 1 cars. We'll get there eventually, Brain. So then, Curving Texas, our next driver. Let's see what this driver can do then. Our third Project 1 competitor of the qualification session. That's a very nice GTR Robbo, but it's not the one we're looking at for now. On board with Curving Texas on his outlap here. Immediately, I'm getting the impression that that gearbox might be a little too short. Bouncing off the rev limiter at well under 330 Ks, but let's see what kind of times he can produce. Yes, not even hitting 330 on the main straight. Oh, runs it wide as well, but actually survives it quite well. Project 1 GT S1 champion, apparently, Curving Texas. .39002, the first lap for Curving. Oh, and again has to just back out of his momentum there a bit. But he is a lot quicker on this second split. He might be in amongst the other Project 1 cars here, a 38.3 for both. Or rather, a 38.3 for Stone Towel, a 39.1 for Orphan Drop. I wouldn't mind betting he's the quickest of the Project 1 cars. 38.6, so actually not quite. Curving Texas in the 9 car. Will register in 8th place for the time being. Believe Curving Texas is still on the track, so that could be interesting. PKXI, our next driver. Away goes the 11 car. So BKXI, another of the Project One Racing Team outfit. Ooh, a little bit of a hesitation on the apex coming out of the last corner, but it's only the outlap. Will maybe slightly compromise his run down the main straight. A little more top end on this car. A reminder, the time to beat at the moment, 37.141. And at the moment, to get into top split, you'd need to beat a 38.297 for HRA Motorsports Broccolilli. But we still have a long way to go yet. Across the line, looks like a competitive lap. Yes, a 37.7. That's enough for 4th place at the moment, so BKXI. Oh, he's compromised his second lap from the off, though, into the barriers. The lap is essentially cooked already. But what a lap that was from BK. Well under the 38-second barrier. At the very least, that could be a competitive time for the second split. He's decided to fully abandon that lap. It's not crashing, it's drifting with style. Well then, next up, it's one of the big guns. The number 1 car, the defending champion. He's guaranteed a spot in the top split because he's in the top 10 in the championship. However, where he lines up on the grid is still a mystery. The only other guaranteed entry that we've seen out there on circuits thus far is It's Racing with a 37.3. You have to assume Gaban's 37.1 is going to be good enough to at least be on the top split grid. Unless we're about to get something of a whiplash from some drivers in terms of the pace they can achieve. Looks like Spud is doing things a little differently from some. A lot of the drivers have pushed hard from the get-go on the first lap, but some fuel burning and some tyre warming from our champion Potato, N-Spud P666. Took just about every title afforded to him in the 2020 racing season. Hasn't had it quite so clean in the 2021 campaign thus far, not helped by some connection issues as well. Topping 335 Ks into T1 on lap 1. And it looked like a good run through the first corner as well for Spud, the first main series driver at the wheel of a Lexus. We've already had one Lexus from Beast Racer, the privateer. Let's see what the Mash Spuds racing team have in their arsenal. First lap about to come to an end, and he's looking fast through that final corner. But he did tap the barrier just a little bit. That's going to compromise his run onto the next lap as well, a 37.7. He will just have lost a couple of Ks there. Coming onto this lap, much quicker though, through the first corner. Right on board. Let's see if he gets the last corner right this time. Just approaching 330 Ks. Does he avoid the barrier? Yes, he does. Much quicker through the final corner. What kind of time is it? It's a 37.147 to beat. It's a 37.183. Just shy of Gaban's, but critically ahead of its racing, which could be very important. Come next Sunday, could be very important as well in the championship once all is said and done. Great stuff from N-Spud. Goes second with that time, just a few hundredths off Gaban's. This is a very exciting format that we have. It's a very exciting format we have here with let's say palpable tension. All comes down to 2 laps, not just where you'll be on the grid, but whom you'll be racing with. Certainly not insignificant amounts of pressure. So 37.141 is the benchmark at the moment from Gaban's in an It's Racing Esports Honda. It's Racing Esports no longer with the top 2 locked, courtesy of that time from Spud. Good enough for second place, also a 37.1. Now let's see what this man, Justin 930, can do. Justin 930, someone with lots of experience in Gran Turismo. Also, a driver who regularly competes alongside It's Racing himself in the Trackstars Endurance Series. The race has gone green, but Justin looks like he might be stalling us a little bit here. Maybe Cartel Equipment Hire wants some extra track time, or rather some more stream time. I don't know quite what the justification or the strategy is here. Surely his tyres are only cooling with every passing moment here. This is an interesting strategy. He's gone. What's happened there to Justin? Well, that was bizarre. Ah, he was stuck. Right. Gran Turismo strikes again. Let's hope for better fortunes in this race. Or, yeah, this race, I suppose, technically. Let's hope that he gets off the line. Justin 930. Not so sure that anything is... Ah! He's underway. Okay. Well, that's a no. Oh no. Has he got control of the car? No. Oh dear. Okay, so he's going to have to exit lobby. Maybe do a cache reset, and hopefully he'll be out there in just a few moments. Technical issues to be expected in the current era on Gran Turismo Sport, seemingly. Justin 930 forfeits. And we have a pit glitch for Laudy. Maybe the track is in need of a reset here. In terms of the time, that could be a good idea. I think the time may be needing a reset. The reason I've hopped out is because whenever I'm in or on track, whenever that's happening, I tend to end up getting fully reset from the game. So I exited with some self-preservation in mind. I assume we're going to reset the time again, courtesy of any issues that may exist in terms of, yeah, okay, consistency. So we are switching back. No, I know he can clear cache in the lobby, Benjo. I was just suggesting both actions. So, Xiaomi has joined the circuit. It's Racing says we'll keep a happy house. We believe that's because Xiaomi's better half is campaigning ferociously against him taking any longer. And so with Xiaomi's safety our priority, we allow him onto the circuit now. So as a reminder of the format, an out lap and 2 flyers. The fastest of the 2 flyers is your lap time for quali. Oh dear. I think we may have another glitch. Or is this just rolling start now? Okay, cool. It's just a rolling start. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Again, some fuel burning from Xiaomi. We've seen that from a couple of them. Redlining the car to make sure it's inefficient as possible. .52 on the side of his car. Shades of World Superbike champion James Toseland. Oh no, 35 on the side of the car, so disregard. Though 35, of course, also a motorcycle-related number, if you want to be that way inclined. One Cal Crutchlow, MotoGP rider. See what this car does in a straight line. Just about hitting 336 k's. That's about the sweet spot, seemingly, for the Lexus and the Nissan. Let's see what kind of pace he has heading into the second corner. Didn't look quite as quick to me through T1, but I could be mistaken. Xiaomi Crossing the line for a 37.6. That's a good lap. That would be good enough for 5th place as it stands, just behind Shaden Racing's Dano. Looked like a slightly quicker run through T1. No, actually. A 10th down. Okay, well, clearly my perception's a little off then. A 37.6 may be the best he can handle. Won't be top Nissan then. Looks like Shaden Racing Team's Dano 8 is going to have that sealed. Although that lap time's still looking good. Oh no, a 37.8, so still a couple of tenths off his best. Nonetheless, a good showing from Xiaomi. The EBM Motorsport driver, who is one of the guaranteed top 10 in terms of the top split. So he's top 10 in the Trackstars Touring Cars points, therefore he is guaranteed a spot. And I think that lap time has guaranteed him a relatively good spot. We'll see where he is relative to the other top 10 combatants, where he will factor into the main split. Here's Justin 930 giving it another go. So the forfeit was considered non-canon. Oh, he's testing the handbrake. At least the planes are working, says Tom Winder. Yep. So then, 37.147 is the time to beat. Or 37.141, I should say. My apologies. Off the line goes Justin. Seems the keyboard doesn't want to play nice with me at the moment. Ah, there we go. So we'll ride on board for a little bit with Justin for a flying lap. 336 tends to be what we see. No, only 334. But, almost entirely around the corner at over 250 Ks. That's a pretty good first corner. Let's see how that translates for the rest of the lap. 325 going through the second turn. What's the benchmark going to be on lap 1? Will he be in amongst the other It's Racing Esports Hondas, all of which have looked competitive? Yes, a 37.4. That's good enough for 4th place at the moment from Justin. Justin, who is not a regular Trackstars Touring Cars competitor, therefore doesn't have a guaranteed spot in top split, will be working hard here. A few hundredths up in the, a few thousandths up in the first split, but I don't think he got as good of a run out of T1. Let's see. Yes, indeed, loses a few hundredths there at the back section of the circuit. Tighter line out of the last corner. It's a 37.545 for the Honda. That's good enough to just about beat Dano 8. A 37.474. We've had a lot of 7s actually at the moment. 3rd place It's Racing on a 37.371. Justin 930 just going 4th place on a 4.74, and then a 5.71 for Dan 08. So got some fairly close times on the board. Yes, will be very interesting to see whether Justin gets into the top split. If he doesn't, he will certainly be a top driver in split 2. Let's see what Loudy Dark Mist can do then. We've seen him once, as we dealt with that brief glitch. '77 car. About to take to the track then. Robbo Sport Racing entry. Gets off the line now. So we switched to rolling start procedure, just so people don't get stuck on the grids. Dark Mist, another driver who isn't a regular in the Trackstars Touring Cars series. Will be looking to make a mark for himself here. Looks like his gearing is set up nicely. Tips it into T1. Not the fastest we've seen through there. Rounds the final corner. Looks like he got a good run out of the last turn. Good enough for a 37.9. That would put him in P9 as it stands. Of the runners we've seen so far, we've had 14. Well, this is our 14th runner, I should say. Of almost 50 that we anticipate for this event. I made the horrible mistake of not having breakfast before this stream. We're going to be here for a while. 37.868 for the RoboSport Racing entry. A 37.876 from EBM Motorsports Bozza a little while ago. So he just about beats out Bozza for 8th place. Expect that to be a relatively strong position for split 2 once everything has come out in the wash. But we don't know the form of these other drivers, so let's not make assumptions. Yes, Diswood, the cat has had breakfast because he matters a lot more than I do. But anyway, if my my stomach is hungry, that means it's consuming some of the fat that is on my belly, hopefully. Making me a lighter man if I stay hungry. 666 car. Joins the let's see what Devlin Calypso can do then. Devlin, part of a Belgian contingent that races in the Trackstars Endurance category. Oh, he's got a bad run there out of the final corner. I don't think his gearing is quite right either. So Devlin may struggle to get a good lap out of this car in its current trim. Largely disappointed. He's making that labour so I can see what the times are doing, I think. So blame me. Also, if it was on paper, it would be a mess. Let's see what Devlin's time is then. First lap. I'm expecting something in the 38 with the gearing he's got. Yes, a 38.342, which is just 1/1000th of a second quicker than Project One Racing's Stoned Towel. Sentences I never thought I'd ever say again. Couple hundredths up on himself. Couple of tenths clear. Takes a wide line through the final corner. Looks like it works quite well, actually. 38.1 the time for Devlin Calypso. That puts him in P10. So next up we have Saltash Racer, a top driver from the TS2 series, so Match Spuds Racing's hotshot in that category. And often right up the front of the order is Saltash. Third Lexus that we have seen to this point in the race, or in the qualifying sessions, I should say. Our 16th runner, I believe, as well. Here is Saltash Racer. Seems like Scaleo 2, who we were scheduled to have seen already, having some game issues. Bouncing off the rev limiter then, Saltash. Some more fuel saving. Does exactly what we saw from Spud. Just a bit of weaving and a bit of rev limiter until you get to T1 and then punch it. So it looks like the Mash Spuds boys have a setup in place here. And it looks like Saltash has some good speed looking at this outlap. For that, 338 displaying. Carries good speed around the first corner. That was a good run through T1. He did get a nick of the barrier there, but I don't think it did too much to harm him. I think this could be a very good lap time that we're on for here. Saltash Racer. Rounding the final turn now. Keeps his foot in it. Looks like a good run, this. And it is a 37.105. That puts him at the very top of the board, ahead of Gabans. Is this a quicker time? It is. This could be potentially the first sub 37-second lap of our session if he hooks up these last couple of sectors correctly. He's rocking on the door. Is he quicker through the last turn? I don't think he was. Let's see what kind of time he puts in. It's a 37.011. That is over a tenth quicker than anything we've seen to this point in the session. Very impressive stuff from Saltash Racer. Top of the pile, and justifiably, he will be delighted with that performance. That was magic stuff. With Hasselhoff on his racing suit, he clearly had the kit to get to the top of the order. So then, Magical Wax 763, who I've been repeatedly told to refer to as Maggie. Another Nissan. Let's see what this Godzilla can do. Not this one, this one. Off the line. Doing a little bit of fuel burning. Looks like he is really labouring the gearbox here on the outlap. Wants to be careful not to fuel burn too much. There's only a very small sliver in the tank per the regulations that we're running today. So then, with a new benchmark in mind, that's not a good run out of the final corner. Looks like he got it sideways there, and that cost him. Stayed in fifth gear there. Just over 300 Ks. Doesn't look like a time that's going to set the world alight. When again he gets loose, that car does not look good through that final corner at all. Impossible to know how well set up the car is. It looks like, and certainly in terms of gearing, it looks like it might be about right. However, that last corner seems to really bite Maggie. A 40.5. time to beat. He's not quite going to get into the 39s. Although, no, this time he actually gets the last corner hooked up. A 39.1, that last corner. I think he wasn't taking it flat, and that was the whole issue that he was having. Unfortunately, he still compromised his run onto that lap by not going flat the previous lap. He only had 2 laps practice, apparently, before hopping on, so that's certainly most of the attribution of blame certainly falls on a lack of practice. Can't blame him for being a little bit off the ball. But a 39.5 would put him at the back of the order at the moment. Sounds like KD 1997 was having some issues there. Looks like his car might be a bit underweight. Magical Wax is still there on circuit, but he needs to X out. American made. KD 1997. Based on his PSN tag with the same age. So the first American driver we've seen today. I think the first American driver I've ever seen in Track Stars. I'm sure there have been others. So Project One racing team with plenty of horses out on the track, plenty of dogs in the fight, if you will. The 48 car, well, maybe he's a fan of Jimmy Johnson. Off the line goes the 48 car. Let's see what kind of performance he can put in. No fuel burning or weaving for this driver, so just hopping straight into it. Looks like his gearing might be a bit low. We'll see how much that affects him. It's not too far down at least, so... Oh, he runs it a bit wide there, flashes the headlights. Hello to you as well, KD. Rounds T2. What kind of lap time are we going to see first time by for the 48? Fastest Nissan we've seen so far is the 37.571. Oh, and a 38.0. Quite a competitive time. That's good enough for 11th place. Again flashes his lights out of that corner. A couple of hundredths down on his best thus far. Let's see how he is in the second split. Will this lap be salvageable? Oh, it depends on his run through the final corner. It looks pretty quick. A 38.0 is the time for him to beat. It's a 37.990, so he does improve on his best, and he will indeed take 11th place, just ahead of Devlin Calypso, just behind Bozza 777. Honda and Lexus currently looking like the stronger cars. There we see the Lowe's colours on his race suit, confirming where he got the number 48 from. Thank you, BKXI. Time for Little Blacko to take to the stage for RoboSport Racing. Of course, Little Blacko, one of the fastest drivers in Trackstars, but has largely been doing his racing in TS2 this season. But this is a driver that I expect to be right up the front. He's pretty good with his virtual toolbox, his virtual setups, which are all important here at Blue Moon. I'm expecting great things from Little Blacko. On board with the 14 car as he launches away. Indeed, it looks like his gearing is about where it needs to be. Could this be the first front-running Nissan? 37.5 currently the best from Dano A to Shaden. That is a good time. But will Little Blacko be able to lower the bar for the Nissan drivers? 337k is the best we saw there on the approach to T1. Looked like a fairly good run through the first corner, but I'm not certain it was as quick as he could be. Great pace, though, through the second turn. Very committed through the final corner as well. I think this could be a good lap. Let's see what kind of time. Is it a 37? It is a 37.3. That's a great lap. 37.309. Good enough for fourth place on the board at the moment. Just ahead of the 95. It's racing. So Little Blacko, of course, not guaranteed a split one spot here in the Blue Moon Bay 500 because he's not in the top 10. He needs to make it on performance alone. And it looks like he's putting in one great performance in order to try and put his hat in the ring. Second lap is not an improvement. A 37.361, not quite good enough compared to his first lap, but nonetheless, I think Blacko will be happy with that. He's the fastest Nissan that we've seen so far. Everyone gets a win today with this qualifying format as well, of course, so some stat boosting ongoing as well. No messing around, we've got another one. It's RoboSport. Often the safety car driver. Today, looking to perhaps make his mark on the category as a full-on racer. The 22 car is underway. So RoboSport, a regular competitor in TS2, also I believe races in the Trackstars Formula 2. Certainly a long-time supporter of Trackstars. And of course the head of RoboSport Racing. Has some very good teammates to glean setups and information from. So let's see if he can make the package work. Looks like a good run through the first corner for Robbo. And 30 clicks just about as he turns in to the last corner. Got a little bit of a wobble there, but didn't seem to cost him too much momentum. I think maybe a slight kiss to the barrier as well, but a 37.465 is a pretty competitive time. It splits its racing in just in 9:30 that time. That is 6th place at the moment for Robbo. Which would just about be enough for Robbo to be in main split as it stands. Crosses the line. It's 37.561. And that puts him... Well, the 561 obviously doesn't count into anything, so it's 37.465. The time that will count. And that will put him 4th among the drivers that don't have a guaranteed spot, which I believe is the very cusp of the top split. There'll be 14 cars in the top split with a safety car and the stream. So we're expecting to see RoboSport, for now at least, we're expecting to see RoboSport in the main split, which would be big for Robbo. There is still a very long way to go. Here's a new face, a privateer, Sturgis. The fellow British driver taking to the Honda. Still rocking the Raybrig purple, I think. It's a little more metallic than that, but nonetheless. Let's ride on board for his outlap. Let's see what this commodity can do. Don't want to say unknown commodity, but a privateer driver. Certainly not a familiar face to the Trackstars Touring Cars main series. Now we get to see exactly what they're made of. Looks like the gearing is okay on the car, although it might actually be a little bit too high at the top end. Let's see what kind of speed he has into T1. Yes, he's not quite revving enough down the main straight. Tips it into the first corner. What kind of lap can Sturgis do? Best time we've seen from a Honda so far is Gaban's on a 37.1. I think this could be a good time. It is a 37.408. So he goes ahead of Robosport. So as it stands, Sturgis would be at the back of the main grid in split 1, along with the championship top 10, and the fastest of the interlopers. The 84 car rounding T2, and he's up on his time by 2/10. What kind of lap time will this be from Sturgis? The answer is a very good one, a 37.219. Puts him 4th place, ahead of Little Blacko. Which means that Little Blacko is now the driver in danger. It would be quite the upset for Little Blacko to not be in the main split. Mix 1, 2, 3 is next. So that was quite the upset there from Sturgis, the privateer, with a good showing in his NSX. Here is Mix 1, 2, 3. A driver who we've seen in the main series, a driver who's regularly competing in the TS2 series. Robosport Racing GTR. Off the line. No fuel burning or anything extra from Mix. He launches straight in. The green and black GTR. Let's look at the gearing. Always the first tell of what kind of lap we're going to see. Looks like he may have got it just about spot on, the gearing, so strap in. This could be a quick lap. We've seen the Robosport GTRs looking fast. Could he fell Little Blacko even? Little Blacko is the man with the last of the spots for the main split at the moment on a 37.309. So that's the key position to keep an eye on at the moment. These privateer drivers, these non-top 10 drivers, looking incredibly quick thus far. We've had 3 of the championship top 10 set times thus far. Let's see what Mix can do. Looks like a good run through the final corner at least. What kind of lap is it? It's a good one, a 37.7. Not quite as good as I thought it was going to be, but still a solid lap time. Would put him 11th place. Just ahead of Project One Racing Team's BK. He's up on the first split by over a 10th, so there's definitely some more potential in the car. Rounding the final corner. Again, just a little up on himself. Is he quicker through the final turn? He does seemingly have a couple of clicks on himself. What kind of time is it? It's the 37.581, which is not enough to be in top split. It's just a 100th of a second down on Dan 08. Puts him 10th place, just ahead of Xiaomi. It's the 1, 2, 3 car. Currently 10th of the cars that have qualified. Expecting that to be a fairly competitive Tier 2 time. Or Split 2, depending on how you want to phrase it. Rugworth is up next. The Kiwi driver. I can see some McLaren stickers on the back of that car. Of course, McLaren with its roots in New Zealand. Gabans, I believe, yes, that you will be on pole, but I will defer to its racing on that. But I believe you'd be on pole. Or Saltash would be on pole at the minute, of course, but you see my point. I believe it would be order of time. Rugworth. Our first Kiwi of the evening, I think. I feel like I'd have noticed, if not, but I could be wrong. 300 kilometers an hour as he goes down the back straight. 186 miles an hour for those of you leaning more towards my end of the world. Looks like his gearbox is just about right. 337 clicks into T1. Just under 250k at the apex of first corner. Looks like he has this car set up well. Let's see what Rugworth can do. He's a privateer entry, so he's not affiliated to a team. We've already seen a privateer get in amongst the top drivers, Sturgis. Across the line he comes now, 37.498. That's a good time. That puts him just behind Justin 930, so at the moment he'd be second split, albeit at the sharp end. He's going a little bit quicker on this lap. If he can get into the 37.3s, which I think he's going to do, he could be into the top half dozen. Does he beat Little Blacko's 37.309? Not quite. In fact, he loses a bit of time in the last split. 37.443 the time for Rugworth, which puts him just ahead of RoboSport, 7th of the times that we've seen so far. I believe, at the moment, that would be pole for split 2 for Rugworth. So that's pretty good going from Rug. Next up, it's another Honda. Speedy tyres from CP Motorsport. A few extra CP cars, I believe, we have today. Yes, indeed, we have a quartet from CP Motorsport. Diswood, Huso, AT, and this man's Speedy Tyres, the first of the drivers for the CP Motorsport entry, or outfit, I should say. CP Motorsport outfit. Of course, this team, backed by Next Level Racing, and I believe Next Level Racing involved with a new project with Jimmy Broadbent, that being simracing.gp. Certainly they're credited on the website for that new organisation. Just topping out at 332. Not the best straight line speed we've seen from a Nissan, and not the best run through the first corner either. Speedy tyres with a little bit too much speed into T1. So this lap is effectively going to be a scrapper. He's going to have to rely entirely on his fortunes on lap number 2. 38.0 is actually not too bad in spite of that moment. 17th place as it stands. Much better through T1. That's a competitive line through the first corner. He's 2 tenths up already. He's probably going to be well over half a second up by the time he gets through the second split. So I'm expecting at least a mid-37 here if he nails the final corner. Sure enough, indeed, over half a second clear. What kind of time can Speedy Tyres put in? Crosses the line now, and it's a 37.482. That's a good time from Speedy. Puts him just behind Justin 930. That puts him in 10th place, just ahead of Dan 08. That would put him on the second row of the grid for the second split as it stands. So as a reminder, there are 10 drivers already confirmed as being in the top split. That's the top 10 in the Trackstars Touring Cars Series, the Elite Breaker Mechanical Trackstars Touring Cars Series. And then we have 4 privateer spots, 4 spots for drivers who aren't normally in the series. Wildcards, I suppose you could call them. And then we have the second split, and there will be additional races as well as the second split. Everyone will get the chance to compete in a Blue Moon Bay 500. A lot of these drivers will be seeing the main Blue Moon Bay 500, the top split, as the Blue Moon Bay 500, and that's what people are going to be aiming for. Did I say Nissan? I'm sorry, Benjo. Hello, Brandosa. Neil says hello as well. I'll send you some pictures later. So then, Nismo 86, another driver who we see in other Trackstars competitions. We see him in the Endurance Series in one of the Toyota TS030s. I don't actually see him. Ah, yes I do. The Vision Video and Gaming car, of course. Let's see what Nismo 86 Oz can do. He's definitely burning some fuel. I'm doing so at a faster speed than most. Why is my camera not changing? There we go. So then, Looks like his gearing's about right. Into the first corner. Let's see what kind of time this is going to translate as. We won't speculate till he gets to the line. It can be sometimes a bit difficult to perceive people's lines with the netcode being a little bit sketchy between Australia and the UK at times, so it's difficult to fully perceive. Let's see what kind of time he puts across the line. It's going to be a 37, clearly. Yes, a 37.712. That puts him just outside the top dozen for the time being. Let's see if this second lap is an improvement. He's a bit slow through the first corner, but he is quicker than he was last time, so this could still be a competitive showing. If he's got a good run through this second corner, it could be a 37.5. Although he has lost a bit of time, actually, through the back section of the circuit. Let's see what the time works out as. Is it going to be another 37.7? And is it going to be an improvement? It's a 37.660, ultimately. So 37.660 would put him 14th on the grid, just ahead of BKXI. So split 2 for him, definitely. But could be competitive in split 2, I reckon. But of course, depending on the fortunes of the next 20 or so drivers, he could be knocked down to a split 3. There's still another 25 to go. We're about halfway through this qualifying setup at the moment. A word to It's Racing if he's listening. I think Streamer might need a break in a minute for Little Boy's Room. I concur with Papa AT. I'm liking liveries on these Vision Video and Gaming Lexuses, or Lexi. We won't wade into that debate. Ash Beckham. Or Ash B-Chan? We'll say Ash Beckham. It sounds more natural. 44 car. Looking for a competitive showing. It was a 44 car on pole yesterday at Imola. Can Ash do anything similar to one Sir Lewis Hamilton? 337 Ks, so he's clearly got his box about right through the first corner. Oh, he just about clipped the barriers, I think, but it still looks like a fairly quick run through T1 regardless. Let's see what kind of time he can put in here. Ash crosses the line now, or will cross the line. I'm jumping the gun a little bit there. Out of the last corner. It's a 37.2. That's a great time from Ash. He's clearly got this Lexus working with him well. Not quite as quick through turn 1 there by the looks of it. Flashes the headlights. Yes, he's lost a couple of tenths there. That's not going to be anything like as quick. But nonetheless, a 37.284 puts him 5th among the runners thus far. And critically, he's 4th among the non-top 10 runners, which puts Little Blacko out of the top split. That is an upset and a half to see Little Blacko relegated to the second split. We'll be back with more commentary in just a moment, hopefully in time for the next flying lap. But as it says, I am allowed to miss one if I absolutely have to. So, as the Dutchman, McLaren JK, makes his way down the back straight, we will run through the grid as it stands on a 37.011. Saltash Racer over a 10th clear at the top. He will be joined by Gabans of It's Racing Esports on the provisional front row, a 37.141. Spud, the first of the drivers who's guaranteed a spot in the main split, is next on a 37.183, and currently joining him on the provisional second row would be Sturgis on a 37.219. Ash Beckham, the fourth of the wildcard drivers at the moment set for the main split race. But could that be about to change, courtesy of one of his teammates from Video Vision and Gaming? A 37.199. Yes, it is about to change. A great lap from McLaren. Can he do better on the second? Not quite. He's not quite hooked it together in T1, but a 37.199 nonetheless would put him fourth on the grid as it stands. And that knocks Ash out of the main split. Only 4 spots to be chosen from in the main split, and unfortunately, teammates battling teammates at the moment. McLaren JK with a 37.199, so that puts him fourth. Sturgis would be fifth on the grid as it stands in the Honda. So Sturgis, currently the man in danger, would currently start at the very back of the main, or well, may not start at the very back of the main split, but he's currently the danger car at the very least in terms of drivers who don't have a guaranteed top 10 spot. Anyway, let's run through. Saltash 37.0, 37.1 for Gabans, 37.1 also for Spud, and of course we just saw yet another 37.1, 37.199 from McLaren JK. Video Vision and Gaming's Ash Beckham is next on a, or rather, yes, sorry, he would be next after Sturgis. Little Blacko would be alongside Ash on the front row for split 2, 6th and 7th at the moment. 8th place in terms of pure lap time, 37.371 for Cartel Equipment Hires. It's Racing. Rugworth is next, followed by Robbo Sports, who rounds out the top 10 in terms of lap time at the moment. He would be in split 2, of course. Justin 930 in another of the It's Racing Cartel Equipment Hire backed cars. 11th, Speedy Tyres on a 37.482. 12th, as Max Zeal, I think, maybe stuck on the grid. He's revving, but he's not moving. That's unfortunate. Dan 08, 13th currently on a 37.571. So the top 12 all within half a second at the moment. Mix is next in 14th on a 37.581. Xiaomi on a 37.601 in 15th. 16th place is Nismo 86 Oz from Vision Video and Gaming, 37.660. Project One Racing Team's BKXI, or perhaps BK11, on a 37.797. Robosport Racing from Laudi Dark Mist, 37.868 for him, the 77 car, in 18th. 19th is Bozza from EBM Motorsport on a 37.876. KD 1997 on a 37.990 in the 48 car. Devlin Calypso from Nightmare Walking Racing on a 38.179 in 21st. Brocker Lilly 22nd on a 38.297. Privateer Driver Beast Racer on a 38.309. Stoned Towel of Project One Racing Team on a 38.349, and Curving Texas on a 38.616. 39.161 for Magical Wax 763 in the 114, and Orphan Drop of Project One at the very back on a 39.181. We have had 27 cars set a time so far. We're waiting for Mac to exit the race, but he's not doing it. There we go. So at the moment, Wesley Jordake, otherwise known as Deadpool, I am scared, he simply says. He doesn't have too much to worry about, mind you. He is in the championship top 10, so he's guaranteed the top split, but I know that Deadpool is a man of pride and will be wanting to get into the upper echelons of the grid. At the moment, the top of the grid for the main split is a bit low on top 10 championship drivers. Mash Spuds, the fastest of the guaranteed top 10 on a 37.183. But I think we may have a good contender here with another Honda NSX CP Motorsports Papa AT, who has been very good in his showings thus far in the season. Certainly a consistent top half dozen driver in the Trackstars touring cars, and that's probably underselling his form slightly. But a driver we'd expect to be towards the sharp end. Critically, he is also in the championship top 10, just 10th in the championship. So this is a driver who will be main split, guaranteed. So he's not fighting for his position in the top split race. He's going to be in the top split race. Question is, where will he qualify? And what kind of form does he have here at Blue Moon Bay? Well, he's got 2 flying laps to prove himself in the 4-car. Here comes Papa. Like he's got the gearing just about right. I'm noticing the Hondas aren't quite as quick in a straight line, but they hook up nicely around these corners. Nice exit from the NSX of Papa AT. Let's see what CP Motorsports can do with the first of their EBM Trackstars drivers. Of course, he's been subbing in largely, but or he's been subbed in a lot. 37.6. That's not setting the world alight. That's outside of the top 10 in terms of pure lap time. Touches the wall there. Still quicker, but I think his exit will have been compromised. So we'll see what his second split is after turn 2. Indeed, he's lost a bit of time there. So sure enough, Papa does not improve. That puts him 37, what was it? 37.6, was it? Time moved before I could see it. A 37.696. Okay, so that puts him... Oh, no, I don't want to be on track. No, I'm not racing. Good lord. Oopsie. Papa AT's 37.696 would put him just behind Nismo from Video Vision and Gaming. That puts him as 17th fastest so far. Would still just about be in the second split, but I think we're going to see some more quick drivers in that second split as It's Racing asked me if I'm qualifying. I'll do it if you want me to, mate. Well, actually, no, my gearbox is not suited at all. Sorry, jaw dash. My apologies, Wesley. Have a go, Adam. If someone's willing to send me a decent Nissan gearbox, then sure. But I can't race anyway. I don't think I can get the cat to try and use the DS4, unfortunately. Have I been saying it the wrong way round? Sorry, buddy. I try my best. Sometimes my brain fails me. Max Zeal seemingly having some more technical issues. Oh dear. So things not going to plan at the moment here in the lobby. Good luck in my quali. I'm not doing it. Well, I might do it. I don't know. Unfortunately, I think Max Zeal is waving his white flag here. Just trying a reset of the time, of course, so let's see. Let's see what happens. So then, let's see if we can get this underway this time. It's another Vision, Video and Gaming entry. Budsy76. Another driver who's not a regular in the Trackstars Touring Cars series. He's currently got it in reverse. He's solved that. And thankfully he's off the line as well. 776 car. Had I been saying video, vision and gaming or something? My mush mouth is coming out to play. Is that what it is? Budsy, another driver, as I was saying, who isn't necessarily a regular in the Trackstars touring cars, but we've seen plenty of non-regular drivers up the sharp end to this point in the session, so certainly not being on the regular grid doesn't seem to be a problem. Very quick into turn one. Looks like he managed to maintain the momentum as well quite nicely. This looks like it could be a quick lap from Budsy. Currently have one Vision, Video and Gaming Lexus on the top split grid, and that is McLaren JK. Could we see a second, at least provisionally? Budsy looking very quick here. It's going to be a low 37, yeah, 37.449. That's not enough. He needs to be really in the 37.2s as a bare minimum to be at the very sharp end. And that time not looking as good. Already lost himself some time there at turn one. So 37.4 is going to be his best. 37.449, which puts him just behind Rugworth in the privateer Lexus. So Vision, Video and Gaming's Budsy will be joining Ash Beacon in the second split, at least for now. But we do, of course, still have the better part of 24 cars to qualify. So then, this is an important run. Dis Wood, who has been filling in for Paparazzi here and there in the CP Motorsports outfit in the top class. He's 6th in the championship, so he will be in the main split. The question is, will he be as competitive as usual? He's usually one of the quickest drivers, especially in quali, and a driver who seemingly knows his way around the setup section of this game as well. Good run out of the final corner. Let's see what the 66 car can do. Honda's slightly slower in a straight line. We've come to expect that. But quick around the corners, and that looked like a good run through T1 for Dis Wood. Let's see how the second split looks. It's a 25.8. That should put him in the mid-47s, which isn't as competitive as you'd expect. It's a 37.500, so exactly in the mid-37s. 37.50 puts him just behind CP Motorsports' other driver that we've seen thus far. Speedy tyres, so let's see what this Honda can do in the second lap. How's the second split looking? A little bit down. Is this going to be an improvement? He's going to have to really push through that final corner. I don't think he's quite done enough. No, not quite. He's lost just a few hundredths there. A 37.530, so a 37.5 for Wood, but critically, even though he's way behind a few cars on the overall timings across the 50 cars, he will be starting on the main split grid. He's in the championship top 10, so he has a slot in the main split. So one last attempt for Maxil. Or Maxilli. And he's off the line. That's great to see. He's going to get a go. The 70 car. Finally getting its run. Let's see what kind of pace Matt can put in. He'll be eager to put in a good performance. Oh, but he needs to be full throttle through that corner. He needs to be full throttle through that corner. He's already compromised his run onto the straight with that. Not the best run through T1 either. Looks like the car is set up nicely though. Let's see if he can go flat this time. No, again he's lifting out of it. That's not conducive to quick lap times, unfortunately. Maxelli. It'll be a 39.6, which would currently put him slowest of the drivers that have run. Let's see if he can improve on this lap. 3/10 up on the first sector at least. Let's see if he can hold it flat through the final corner this time. It's easier said than done. No, he's backed out of it again. Oh, and he's got himself on the apron as well. That's never fun. Crosses the line to still improve to a 39.305, but that is the slowest lap we've seen to this point in the session. So we'll see where... I think there will be some form of third split, whether it goes on at the same time or it happens elsewhere at a different point in the week, I'm not certain, but there will be a third split, so that will be seemingly where Max Zelli does his run. Well, that's interesting. Not sure that Shush fully understands the format here. So the 119 car is next out on circuit. Diffuso, another very quick driver. Another driver who would expect great things from. He's not in the top 10. He's done most of his racing in TS2 this year. So he will have to earn a spot in the top split. Certainly a driver worthy of the top split, but will he have the pace over 2 laps here? Well, not over 2 laps, but will he be able to find the pace over the course of 2 laps? That's phrased better. Certainly all of the practice in the world is going to come down to your form under pressure here in this quali format, which I do rather like. Let's see what the Honda can do in the hands of Huso. Good speed into T1. That first corner is really where the Honda needs to make its time. It's not quite as fast at the very top end of the gearbox. It's marginal, mind you. It's still very quick to accelerate as well, but it just seemingly has a bit less on the very top end at the end of the main straight. Let's see what this lap is going to be from Huso. Looks like it'll be a 37. A 37.547, which is well outside top split pace. Can he go quicker on the second lap? Not sure how good of a run that was through T1. It was slightly better, just a couple of hundredths up. Can he get in amongst his other CP Motorsports teammates, both of whom are right around that 37.5 area? Comes across the line. What can he do? It's a 37.554, so just a little bit slower, in fact. But funny enough, as it stands, 13th, 14th and 15th, all CP Motorsport Hondas. Speedy tyres, Diswood. And Huso. 13th, 14th and 15th in the timings. So I think all of them would currently be in the second split. So then the next run will be Benjo in a Honda for Gridline Racing. So that's a driver we know from the Endurance Series, and I believe TS2 as well. That is not a livery we know, and I must say it's quite a nice one on the Gridline Racing NSX. Off the line he goes. The 19 car sets off. Oh, apologies. Knocking the mic. So Benjo has been watching along since the start of this stream, so I think certainly a driver who has seen how to do it properly over the course of the last couple of hours. Good run through the first corner, I think. Settled the car nicely into the turn, got a good exit. Maybe was a bit slow on turn-in, but we'll see. Just topping out 320 Ks around the second bend. $37,930 for Benjo. We've seen Deadpool enter the room as well, so some more of the heavy hitters from TS coming in. Oh, and unfortunately Benjo has withdrawn from this lap already. Clearly made an error. And is now wall riding for all he is worth. So we have a top 10 runner up next Disappointed will be our next driver for the Pit Lane Esports team, 7th in the championship. And this is now our 5th and final grouping, actually. So we are at the tail end of the qualifying, although we have lost or missed a few drivers. So whether or not they make it in or not remains to be seen. We were scheduled to see 50. So then Pointed in the 24 car. This is a driver we should expect great things from. He's had some good form in this Trackstars Touring Car season. The Pit Lane Esports driver doing something similar here to what we've seen from the Mash Spuds. He's doing a little bit of fuel burn and now pulling the pin. So he's learnt from his fellow Lexus competitors. Let's see what Pointed can do. It looks like he's got his gearing set nicely. About where he needs to be at the end of the first straight. Oh, but he's into the barriers there. Nonetheless, that did look like a fairly quick run through the corners. May have only just dinked the barrier. You can get away with that without doing too much damage to your time. Ooh, good run through the final corner. Let's see what it works out as in lap time. It's going to be good. It's going to be 37.6. Not quite as good as I thought it was going to be, but still a decent time. Let's see if he can improve on his second attempt. Stays out of the barriers this time. And is immediately a quarter of a second up on his previous lap. This could be a good showing from Pointed. He'll be anything but disappointed if he's on the first few rows for the Blue Moon Bay 500. He's in the championship top 10, so he will be in the top split. What kind of time is he going to put in? A 37.331. That is a very solid lap time. That is the 8th fastest time we've seen so far today. That puts him just ahead of It's Racing. So It's Racing demoted another position. That would put him 7th on the grid, or rather that would put Disappointed 6th on the grid as it stands for the top split of the Blue Moon Bay 500, although we do have lots of championship contenders, lots of quick drivers. So we are expecting some fast boys. Will anyone be able to top the likes of Gabans on a 37.141? Most importantly, will anyone be able to go to a sub 37? We've seen a 37.011 out of Saltash Racer. A 36 should be possible. We've heard that it's possible from Gabans, but we'll see if anyone can execute it. Deadpool says cute. I don't know why, but he says it in the Gran Turismo chat. We'll... So then Renegade is next on a 575. The 575 car makes me think of the Ferrari 575 GT1 from the mid-late 2000s. Debuted at the end of 2003. Renegade 4701. He said he has to go to the shops, so he's allowed to quali a little bit early. Another Gridline Racing entry, I believe. Correct. So the 575 car of Renegade. Let's see what kind of times he can put in. Could he be another upset from outside of the top 10? He's a regular in the TS2 series. So could he upset some of the top line drivers, some of the main split drivers here, and join them on that grid? Certainly looked like a good first turn. Let's see what kind of lap time he puts in. Lots of sparks from the bottom of the car. 24.896. Still looking impressive. Decent run through the final corner. It's all the finest of margins. And a 37.385. That is a good lap time. That puts him just behind It's Racing. So at the moment he'd be towards the sharp end of the second split in the Blue Moon Bay 500. He's just a couple of hundredths down on himself out of the first corner. I think there may be some time to find in the final turn, though. Can he find enough of it? That does look like a better run. Let's see what the time is across the line. It's a 37.393. He did find a bit of time in that final sector, but it wasn't enough. Nonetheless, a 37.385, a very good time. That's the 10th fastest we've seen today. That would put him on the second row of the grid for the second split of the Blue Moon Bay 500 alongside Rugworth. So at the moment it's Saltash Racer on a 37.011 at the top. Gabans on a 37.141 next to him, a 37.183 for Spud, the first of the top 10 in the grid. 37.199 for Vision Video and Gaming's McLaren JK, and Sturgis9 still set to be a main split driver, the Privateer, on a 37.219. The first of the drivers who's guaranteed for Split 2 is Vision Video and Gaming's Ash Beacon, alongside RoboSport Racing's Little Blacko, their 6th and 7th fastest so far today, respectively. Disappointed, 8th place alongside It's Racing in 9th, of course. They will be on the main split grid because they're both in the top 10 in the championship, and Rugworth rounding out the top 10 at the moment on a 37.443, although of course he's no longer rounding out the 10 because of that time we just saw out of Renegade. My spreadsheet not yet reflecting that time from Renegade, but nonetheless the margin between the top 10 is ever shrinking, and with drivers like this man Punts yet to qualify, I think it's going to shrink some more. There will be fine margins between the top drivers once all is said and done here, but how many people will get into the same kind of ballpark as Saltash Racer? He's currently over a 10th clear, which, yes, doesn't sound like a lot under normal circumstances, but a 37-second lap with 3 corners, there is a lot to be said for that time from Saltash Racer. The Mash Spuds Racing entry looking very impressive. Now Punts, another Mash Spuds Racing Lexus, of course. And another driver in the championship top 10. He is 10th in the championship at the moment. Sorry, 2nd in the championship, I should say. Struggling even with numbers. The COVID jab seemingly really messing with my head today. Nonetheless, looks like, again, that car is set up nicely. Don't think that was a great run through T1, though. We'll see, though. The splits tell you more than my eyes, definitely. "36 incoming from Punts," says the chat, says Spud. Let's see if he is correct. It's a 37.4 for the first lap. Is he just warming up? Let's see. Into T1. That looks better. It is better. That will be a good 10th or 2 off his time. Yes, indeed. Heads toward the final turn. The second corner, more or less a non-event. Ooh, that looks good. Yes, that was a good run through the final corner. What kind of lap time can Punts put in? It's a 37.234. That's a very good lap indeed. That puts him just behind Sturgis. That will be 6th on the grid as it stands in the Blue Moon Bay 500. I think Punts will be fairly happy with that. But perhaps, based on the fact that Spud was convinced of a 36, maybe that wasn't quite up to what he was doing in practice, but nonetheless, I think he'll be fairly satisfied with that. Next up is Chef Toddy. The fastest Nissan at the moment is down in 7th place. That's Little Blacko on a 37.309. Let's see if we can improve Godzilla's fortunes with this man, Chef Toddy. Toddy departs. 144 car. Another Kiwi competitor, number 12. Let's see if the chef can cook up a good lap here. So then, heads towards T1. Oh, he's on the rev limiter there, but looks like he's got good speed. Why isn't it changing my cameras? Thank you. I was trying to get it to do an onboard, but it just decided to leave me on one camera instead. And again. Interesting. So then, rounding the final corner comes Toddy. Looks like it's been a good lap. Is this an oval specialist for Shaden Racing Team? A 37.3 would certainly suggest he knows his stuff. A 3.70, that's a good lap. Not as good through the first turn, though. There was a notification of Renegade leaving the room there just as he went through T1. I'm not sure whether that maybe startled him a little bit. Can be so easy to get distracted for just a few milliseconds when you're in that much of a concentrative state. So perhaps that was it, but nonetheless, Chef Toddy crossing the line this time won't be an improvement. But a 37.370 is a good lap. That puts him just 1,000th of a second quicker than It's Racing. Great stuff from Chef Toddy there. Now, Chef Toddy is outside of the championship top 10, so he won't be in the main split, but showing some good speed there. He'll be right there on the front 2 rows of the top of the second split. He'll be third on the grid as it stands, alongside Gridline Racing's Renegade 4701. Next up, SLM the Kazi 1. Let's see how Kazi does here. So Kazi for the Nissan manufacturer for the EBM Motorsport team. Let's see how he does. Looks like his car is set nicely in terms of the gearbox. Oh, but he's not keeping it flat through the final corner. Kazi, that's important, my friend. Gonna keep it pinned. Cut-off time for top split at the moment is a 37.219. Sturgis in the Privateer NSX. Oh, Kazi still not quite flat through that last corner, and that just makes it harder. You've got to fight the car if you're off the throttle. A 39.7. Let's see if he improves on this second lap. He does just about 39.067. That puts him ahead of a couple of the drivers from Project 1. Good to see Kazi taking a stab at it, and we'll see how he does in his race next week. Yes, 37.219 is the lap to beat in order to get into top split at the moment. So then, EBM Brandosa 34, the big cheese at Elite Brake and Mechanical. He's in the top 10 in the points, so he will be top split. In fact, he's third in the points. He's been having a good season so far. He's been very consistent. Let's see if he can be quick here over 2 flying laps at Blue Moon Bay. I'm just going to very quickly exit out and see whether or not I can get it to let me see onboards. No? Okay. Have it your way. Switch keyboards off, switch keyboards on. I'd like to have onboards, but seemingly doesn't. Oh, yes, onboards, wonderful. Brandosa, then we're right on board with him for his first flying lap. Looks like a relatively quick one. I think this could be a high 37. Comes across the line now. Oh, actually a mid 37, a 37.484 for Brandosa. Just a few hundredths slower in the first sector. Is his run any better through the middle sector? Yes, purple by just a few thousandths of a second. Let's see if the final corner pays dividends. Looks like a good run through the last turn for Brandosa. The Elite Breaker Mechanical Mode Sport Car crosses the line and it's a 37.472, just a little bit quicker for Brandosa. That is the 16th fastest time that we've seen so far today, just 0.02 of a second clear of Justin 930's It's Racing Esports Honda. That should be enough to happily put him in the second split for the Blue Moon Bay, or it would be enough to put him in the Blue Moon Bay 500 second split, but of course he is in the top 10 in the championship, so he doesn't need to worry about that. One driver who does have to worry about that is coming for you in the Toll Mash Spuds Racing entry. Toll Mash Spuds, kind of the junior team, much as the Toll Commodores used to be many years ago. So reconfirming again what I've said a couple of times, that it is indeed 37.219, the time to get into the main split. Let's see what Coming For You can do in the 88 car. Of course, the former number of one Dale Earnhardt Jr. 37.7, the fastest, or the first time for coming for you. Let's see what the next lap. $37.2, that's a very quick time for coming for you. 37.256, he's not quite in split one, unfortunately. 37.219 from Sturgis, still the time to beat. Still the line in the sand between split one and split two, but that is split two pole as it stands, just ahead of Vision Video and Gaming's Ash Beacon. And it's the 7th fastest time we've seen so far today. So many of the wildcard drivers are outpacing the top 10 in the championship, and that's making for an interesting looking grid. Who took me out? Good exit message for coming for you, but I don't think anyone did that time. Jamie Winch cut. Love it. Well, to be honest, Shush, I don't know why you haven't done it before. Deadpool is next. Deadpool, usually a very quick qualifier. He's not loud, he's just passionate. Is Deadpool. Let's see if he can make his mark at the top. He's only got 2 flying laps to do so. And he's underway. Car, the full season entry, the top 10 runner, so he hasn't got to worry about not making it into the top split. He's guaranteed a spot in the top split. Let's see what Deadpool can do. Into turn 1 he goes. Oh, not that quick through the first corner. "35, no doubt," says Lurox. Deadpool has gained himself a reputation as one of the quickest drivers in Trackstars, but this first lap isn't looking particularly impressive. 37.9 is not bad, but it's well outside the 20 fastest. Bit better through the first corner that time, but I don't think it was groundbreakingly fast. Got to be full commitment into that first corner. It's such fine margins on a flying lap. He's made himself a 10th or so. Sparks flying from the back of the NSX. Crossing the line now, and it's a 37.7. So Deadpool would be the 27th fastest qualifier so far, and would actually be the slowest of the top 10 points runners that we've seen so far, just behind Papa AT. So I know he won't be delighted with that, but at least he'll be on the split one grid. So here's Shush doing an outlap. So he was saying in the chat that he was setting up the car. So I think he might be coming in quite cold brain here. Using the 888 car. There's a number with some V8 Supercars lore attached to it. Let's see what Shush can do at the wheel of his RCF. So racing out of the Pit Lane Esports camp. I think he lifted off there through the second corner. Can't be doing that. Oh yeah, I don't think he's had much practice. This strikes me as not a confident drive at the moment. Let's see what the second lap brings. Can he get himself tuned in quickly? .714 on the board. Deadpool in the Discord voicing his displeasure for the game. So not happy with his quali time, a 42.8 for Shush. Which is a ways off the pace. Our slowest time so far, a 39.305 from Vision Video and Gaming's Max Zelli. Let's see what kind of lap he puts in. It's a 41.8. So that's a good ways off the pace. If we were running IndyCar style percentage rules on speed, I think he'd be in a little bit of trouble, but hopefully Shush can get some practice in and figure himself out before he goes racing. Get some practice in, figure out some of these lines. Sorry for making your heart jump there, Brian. And so I guess with its resetting the room, that's the last time that we were getting so that means that certainly as of now, Saltash Racer is our pole sitter for the Blue Moon Bay 500, a 37.011. Quite an impressive time. We're pretty happy with that at the Mash Spuds Racing Camp. Saltash Racer, 37.011. It's Racing Esports Gabans on a 37.141. Currently second. The first of the championship cars is N-Spud, or the championship top 10, I should say. 37.183 for Spud. McLaren JK would be next up on a 37.199, and the current benchmark for anyone trying to get out into the main split is 37.219 from Sturgis. And then the championship top 10 runners are after that. So Punts, Pointed, It's Racing, EBM Blandosa, Diswood, Xiaomi, Deadpool and Papa AT, who have all qualified, and I believe we still haven't seen a time from Lurox, although I believe he's popping in later. They are doing some second chance times, apparently, for qualifying. So drivers will get a chance to improve upon their lap times, so I'm sure we'll see some of the top 10 trying to get further up the order. So at the moment as well, in terms of the second split, the front row would be coming for you for the Toll Mash Spuds on a 37.256, followed by Ash Beacon on a 37.284, so an all Lexus front row as it stands there. Little Blacko on a 37.309, Shaden Racing's Chef Toddy on a 37.370, then Rugworth and Gridline's Renegade following them. We'll stick around for at least a couple of these second chance runs, but I do kind of have to get on with some stuff today. So then, first man in the second chance saloon is Deadpool. Let's ride on board with the man. Now, last time it looked like he was losing his time in the first corner to me. I could be wrong, but that's certainly how it looked to a casual observer. Let's see if Deadpool can find something. Into T1. Looks a little bit better. Maybe he had a couple of more kilometers an hour to find, but let's see what kind of time it is. Through the final corner. Blasts past Spud. Oh. And crosses the line for a 37.524, so that is quicker than he was last time out. But is it quick enough? Oh, he's just tapped the barrier. That's surely going to slow him down. No. Okay, fair enough. He's still purple. But did he compromise his run out of the corner at all? No, he's a little bit further up, but it's only going to be a 37.4 at best. And that's still not quite where he'd want to be. But nonetheless, crossing the line, 37.512. So he lost a bit of time there in the final corner as well, did Deadpool, but his previous time was a 37.750, so it's still an improvement. Of course, he will be in the main split because he is in the top 10 in the championship, but I anticipate some screaming from the Acton area of London, courtesy of our good friend Deadpool. Lots of screaming. That sounds about right. We love you, Deadpool. It's okay. So we have Beast Racer, Xylon, KD 1997. Oh, Xylon's just left, but... So we have names being put into the attendance sheet chat on Discord in order to get a second run. Lurox, of course, putting his name down for his first attempt because he's been, I think, at work. Has unfortunately not been able to have a go yet. We're in a bit of a dead zone at the moment. Whether or not this is meant to be my lead out to stop the stream, I don't know, but I haven't been told. But we will keep going at least for a little while, but I will have to go soon because I need food and I also need to get on with some other stuff today, unfortunately. Have to stop the stream just before 25 past, I'm afraid, because I hadn't really factored in all of these second chances in my day planning, unfortunately. We'll see what KD 1997 can do in the 48 car. Wanting to show a little bit of Jimmy Johnson form, potentially, in the Project 1 Racing Team entry. His best so far, a 37.990. Let's see if he can better that now. Tips it into T1. didn't look too bad. Maybe just a little bit wide in the mid-corner, but nonetheless, powers through. Oh, he's run it too wide there. He's flashing the lights. A 37.3, a much better lap time from KD. 37.379 is the 13th fastest time we've seen. That puts him well into the second split. I think that's something to be proud of from KD. Apologies for missing that time as it happened across the line. I'm being yelled at from a couple of different places. But that was a good lap from KD. Who is next in the second chance saloon? I believe it's Beast Racer. So it's 37.3 for KD. Was a very good time. So then, Beast Racer is the next man to have a go. The 393 car getting its second bite of the cherry. Oh, bit of a wide run through T1 for Beast Racer. What's his best lap so far? He's not right at the sharp end. He's on a 38.3 as it stands as his best lap. So let's see what he can do with this one. 25.5 in the second split. That points to another 38 for me, and oh, that's a wide run through the last turn. That's a 38.4. Oh, and he's wall riding. Oh dear, that's not gone as planned for Beast Racer at all. There we go, 38.488. Is that better than his last one? No, 38.309 last time. So that's not good for Beast Racer. You won't be 20th, Deadpool. You'll be 14th at the back of the... Or no, you'll be 14th... no, 12th. You'll be 12th on the grid for the main split at the moment because you're in the championship top 10, so you're guaranteed a main split position, but you'll be starting 12th as it stands, ahead of Xiaomi and Papa AT. As it stands, only 2 Nissans set to be in the split 1, Grandosa and Xiaomi, and both of them were there on top 10, so none of them qualified on pace, which is interesting. The fastest Nissan was Little Blacko, the 9th fastest time overall. Here's a driver who we expect some more from. I think this is a good way to cap off the stream. I'm going to have to go after this, otherwise I'll get told off. Papa AT is on track then. People were calling 36 when this man was out on circuit. He didn't live up to that hype. Pardon me. A mere 37.696 last time, but he's coming in with a second shot. Let's see what he can do. Into T1. Oh, that looked like it was... How did he save that? That looked like it was full sideways. He launched that car into the corner. I don't know if it was fast, but it was certainly spectacular. Oh, he's run it a bit wide, though, out of the final corner. That's going to compromise his run for the second lap. And it's compromised his time a little as well. A 37.489, though. Not bad. It's an improvement. Oh, but he's tapped the wall again. Just pushing a bit too hard, I think. I don't think he can have a second chance either. So 37.489 is the best he can do. Ironically, splitting 2 of the other CP Motorsport cars in speedy tyres and Diswood. So the Hondas packing together in the CP Motorsport camp. And Papa AT with a 37.489 improves. But I don't think he's improving to his delight. And well, with that run done, I think it's going to have to be goodbye from me on the stream, guys. Unfortunately, I do need to run along and do some other stuff. But thank you to everyone who's attempted to qualify for this. It's been exciting to see these sessions unfold. We've got some more yet to run. But we will be calling an end to the stream here. At the moment, it's a 37.011, the pole position for the Blue Moon Bay 500. Saltash Racer of Mash Spuds Racing, putting in an incredible lap. The current benchmark to make it into the main split from outside of the championship top 10 is Burgess on a 37.219. 37.219, we'll see if anyone can beat that. We'll follow Dan's. Since we've seen the start of Dan's run, we may as well see it through. Let's see if Dan can go quicker. He looked like one of the faster drivers in the Nissans earlier on, so I'm interested to see actually what kind of time he puts in. Nissan looks quite strong through that last corner, to me. Let's see what Dan does into T1. Looks like he's got some good straight line speed as well. Oh, just a little slow, I think, maybe, through T1. Not bad, though. He could have used a little more track on exit. Maybe lost himself a few thousandths of a second, but it was still a good run. 25.008, I think we might be looking at high 37, maybe? Let's see, he comes across the line, it's going to be a bit better than that. It's a 37.452. That is a good lap time from Dano. Dano's fastest time previously was 37.571, so he's already bested himself. And he may do it again. He's a couple of thousandths up. Well, just over 100th up. As he runs through the second corner. And he's still up through the second split. Last corner. Out onto the straight. Is it another improvement? Can he get under a 37.4? Not quite. It's a 37.4 dead. Brilliant time from Dano, though, relative to his previous one. The 15th fastest time we've seen so far today. And that'll put him fairly high up the order in split 2 as well. I think that will be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. He'll be 7th, I believe, in the split 2 with that time as it stands. But of course, there's still time for some moving and shaking. That will be all from me. Congratulations to Dan for that time. Good to see a little bit of improvement from him. But I will sign off, and hopefully we will see some more exciting action from the track stars here next week for the main Blue Moon 500. If qualifying is anything to go by, this is going to be a very closely fought event. From myself, Adam Weller, and everyone here at Trackstars, thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you next time with more from the Elite Brake and Mechanical Trackstars Tour.